Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Tim Manfro, aka Mortgage Manfro, and we're giving our first run at this Facebook Live webinar type situation. So we're excited to share with you guys a lot of really great information. We're going to be learning this as we go. So basically, yeah, let's just all have a good time and learn a bunch of cool stuff and see if we can improve you guys' business and workflow. So today the presentation is called Hardwired for Success. And basically it's how to create a repeatable process to take your business to the next level. So we're going to be covering a lot of stuff. It's going to be kind of be repetitive because really creating systems and flows is repetitive, but it's really one of the main things that separates the super top producers from just the regular producers and just everyone else. So creating these workflows, these procedures is really going to be something that makes a huge difference for you guys' business. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the PowerPoints and we're going to get started. All right, so you guys should be able to see my screen now. And if you guys have any questions at all, just make sure to be chiming in on Facebook Live because I got my left hand here, Sydney, watching all the comments coming in. And if you guys have any questions, just let us know. So, all right, so Hardwired for Success. As I said, how to create a repeatable process that can take your business to the next level. So the main thing is a lot of people ask is why create a plan, okay? And there's a lot of reasons to create a plan, but I've broken it down to a few simple steps or a few simple reasons. Real estate is a business, okay? So, and really this could apply to any business, that you guys are doing. Real estate needs to be treated like a business. And I think a lot of times it doesn't, but the people that do treat it like a business succeed far and above over everyone else. According to Bloomberg, 8 out of 10 businesses fail in the first 18 months due to lack of business plan. So I've done other presentations before about creating a business plan and how important it is. So, you can check those out too. But yeah, you got to have a business plan to be successful. The repeatable process will create accountability. Okay, so that's a big thing. It's hard to hold yourself accountable unless you've laid out what your exact goals are, okay, and the exact process you need to follow. Because you always talk yourself into, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. I mean, I'm guilty of that myself. But this process will create accountability for you, and you could basically provide a uniform experience for all your clients, which is a big thing. So everyone knows exactly what to expect. The ability to delegate tasks to employees. So that's big. As you get more successful, there's no way around it. You're going to have to get a team helping you with all your stuff. And basically, being able to delegate the tasks to employees, if you have them all laid out in a clear, concise manner, they're going to know exactly what to do. You're going to be able to track exactly what they're doing. So it just makes a big difference. You're going to be able to track your success. So you're also going to be able to see what's working, what's not working. I mean, you run around and you do a million different things and yeah, maybe you get busy, but what is actually working? What should you be focusing on more to actually be obtaining, more leads, more closed transactions and all that good stuff. So, and stop me anytime if you guys have any questions, okay? So where do you start? That's a big challenge, okay? So basically this is going to be a huge undertaking making this happen. And I'm not going to lie and tell you it's easy and it's going to be instant and you're just going to be, killing it right off the bat by just implementing one of these little things. It's really going to be a process for you guys from start to finish, getting all this all going. I'm currently going through doing all this. It's been a challenge, but I'm already seeing the light at the end of the tunnel from a lot of the work that I've been putting in over the past 2 years. So there's got to be a process of prospecting. Okay, and a lot of this stuff, I mean, this is all geared towards real estate and loans, but this could apply to anything. You have to have a process to prospect, okay? So you need to be setting things in place, which we'll talk a little bit more about. What happens when you get a lead, a buyer or seller lead? What's your exact process for that? I mean, obviously you call them, right? But what do you do after that? How quickly do you call them? This is going to give you ways to keep track of how and hold yourself accountable for what you've, the guidelines you set out for yourself. Because you're only letting yourself down if you're not following all these all these things that you lay out. This is going to help you succeed, do better for your family and yourself. What happens when you get a buyer or listing? Okay, so what's your exact process after you get a buyer or listing? Everyone has their own process in their head, but you need to write it down. You need to put it down on paper. We're going to talk more about that. What happens after you close a transaction? So this is important. I just recently attended a training seminar in Texas for the core coaching. And one of the things that stuck out in my mind is they said that every closed transaction is good for 1 referral a year. Okay. So what happens after you close a transaction is going to be big with, you getting referrals from those people. Okay. So next we're going to jump into the process of prospecting. This is huge. And this has been a big thing for me. Let me take a little sip of my morning monster there. Top 50 past client list. Okay. This is something that I put together about 2 years ago. We've been prospecting this list and it's made just a huge difference. So a lot of people are always like, oh, I don't know, like who do I put on the list? Where do I start? The way we started was we just went online and we looked at all the people that have basically done reviews for us. Okay. And we just put those people on a list and we started adding, subtracting. This list is going to be changing all the time, but you got to get that list put in place and you got to be prospecting those top 50 past clients. You need to have a greatness tracker. Okay. And that's just a fancy name for a place where you write down your progress throughout the week on, contacting leads or leads that you received, basically face-to-face meetings. So times where you're actually meeting face-to-face with someone, break breads, which is basically where you're meeting with someone to actually talk about business over food. You're also going to track all the deals that you get for the week on that tracker. And that's going to give you the ability to see, how your week's going, because, that's important on making changes and being able to make things happen. Your lead tracker, that's another huge thing. Okay. So greatness tracker is tracking all the things that you're doing to generate leads. The lead tracker is going to be the thing that's going to track all the leads that you're getting per week. Okay. Tracking your leads is huge because, everyone thinks they get a ton of leads and they think they know where they're coming from exactly. But until you actually put it on paper and look at it and analyze it month after month after month, then you can basically be knowing where they're coming from. Also, nothing's going to slip through the cracks. Okay. So when you're tracking your leads, you're going to basically be seeing where they're coming from, what stage they're on. I have a team that helps me with this kind of stuff, but it doesn't matter. Even if you're just yourself and starting out, you need to be tracking your leads because, the mind can go a million different directions, and having it all written down somewhere that you can access it is going to make a huge difference. Customer relationship manager, CRM. You hear a lot of people talk about these. You need to basically be, have a CRM that you're using to stay in front of your clients. Okay. And basically be putting in any information, get as many emails and contacts as you can, and always be putting them in a customer CRM, because that's going to keep you in front of those clients, keep emails going to them, even if it's just random information, even if it's not the best CRM out there, just do it, get it started, and you can change it from there. Commit to monthly client, past and present touch points. Okay. So you need to be contacting your clients. That's going to be where like the top 50 past clients list comes from. You need to be reaching out to those people at least once a quarter to check in and just say hello. That's how you're going to generate that 1 referral lead a year from those people. So there's ways that we can put, things we can put into place. Some people just call every letter. They start with A, then they go to B, then they go to C, and once a week they'll just hit all the A's. So anyone that the last name that has an A starts with an A, they'll call them the first week of the year, and so on and so on. And then that's going to basically have you contacting those people once a quarter. Okay. And when you call them, you're just checking in to say hello. Hopefully these people that are on your list, I would imagine, had a good experience with you. So you're just checking in to make sure everything's good and go from there. So also with the present touch points, that's going to be something where you're going to be dealing with clients that you currently are working with. There's going to be a process for that too. You're going to need a time block to make all this stuff happen. Okay. So basically you're going to need to figure out what parts of this you want to take into place or put into play for your specific process of prospecting. And you're going to want to time block time out to make sure that you're holding yourself accountable for doing all those things. Okay. So here's a little quote from Brian Tracy. Keep your sales pipeline full by prospecting continuously. Always have more people to see than you have time to see them. So I know personally when I stop prospecting or when I slow down on my prospecting, I see the leads start to dip because we track it very closely. So Always, always, always be prospecting. Always be doing the process of prospecting, laying out those things every week. You need to be doing the same thing. Remember, our job is to basically bring in those types of leads to basically be able to help them purchase homes by getting a loan or working with them on the real estate side. We're helping those people get those jobs done or get those tasks done, but we can't do that unless we're actually meeting those people. So you got to always be prospecting. So what happens when you get a buyer lead? Okay. So this is just a layout of what I would think a real estate agent would like to do. This is kind of something like that we've tweaked for the lending side, but you need to make contact within a certain amount of time. So if you get a buyer lead that comes in, what's the amount of time that you're setting for yourself to make contact with that person? Do you need to call them in 10 minutes? Do you need to call them in 30 minutes? Do you need to call them an hour? Do you need to call them within 24 hours? I would say the sooner the better, but basically you need to set a time and figure out exactly how quickly you're going to contact this client every time that they come in, the buyer lead, okay? Create constant follow-up if contact is not made. So what happens if you call this, so let's say you set that you're going to call them within a half an hour. You call them within a half an hour, you don't get a hold of them, you leave a message. So then what happens next? How often do you contact them? How often do you follow up? How do you contact them? Do you contact them by text? Do you contact them by email? If you have those, the email address. What are you doing to basically stay in front of these people? Because, a lot of times you're not going to get in contact with them the first time. So you need to figure out exactly what you're going to do after that, create a checklist, and then be following that for every lead. That way you can know exactly where you're at on each individual lead. So once you do make contact, so let's say you call them a couple times, you finally get, make contact is made, interview. Create an interview form. You need to be basically asking this pretty much the same questions. If it's a buyer lead, you're probably going to be asking the same questions over and over again. And a lot of times we just already know what to ask, but you need to have it, write it down on paper, basically have an interview form that could be changing at all times, because maybe there's questions you forgot to ask initially that you could add to later so you don't miss those on additional clients. But you need to be filling out a form. You can have something on your phone that you just fill out. Or you could actually have a piece of paper. I've seen people make tear-off pads, but you need to be basically interviewing them and creating a file in some kind of shared file process where you can actually have access to that anytime. Because, you may get a lead, you may talk to them, maybe 6 months goes by before they actually do anything. You need to be able to go back and look and see what exactly the answers were to the questions that you said. Unless you're a superhuman brain, which I'm not, you need to basically be looking and seeing all that information there and have access to it anytime. You need to add them to your CRM. So you need to, again, at the beginning I talked about having a CRM, which is basically like a customer contact system. And, you need to have a lead specific campaign. So you're going to add them to this campaign, and you can build out exactly what's going to happen moving forward once you add a buyer lead into the system, okay? If you guys, this is, again, a lot of work, but if you can just take care of each step by step, implementing this into your business is going to make a huge difference. But having a specific lead campaign is huge, because we do have that for our situation when we have pre-approvals and stuff like that. You need to add them to your lead tracker. Okay, so you need to basically put them onto your lead tracker, mark the box, put it where it came from, basically see what the last contact was, let yourself know exactly what the next step is going to be for that client, and tracking them per week and per month. If financing is needed, send them to a reliable lender that shares the same follow-up process. That would be me, hopefully. But even if it's not, you need to be sending it to someone that's basically following the same types of follow-up process and the same theories on business that you are, okay? Because that's going to be very important. Because if you're referring someone to someone, they need to be basically a reflection of you and be handling things the exact same way that you're handling things, okay, or very close to it. Mail a handwritten note. This is so old school, and we're so engulfed in technology and Facebook and videos. And as I'm saying that, I'm on a live Facebook thing. But basically, when you make contact with someone, it's always great to send a little handwritten note. People are always going to open those up. If you have their address, you need to basically take the 5 seconds to pull a card out, write a short note, maybe mention something in the conversation, that connects them and makes them remember that you talked to them, and then send it out. It's a world of difference. It costs, what's a stamp, like 49 cents? 49 cent stamp and the little card and whatever. So you're in for under $1. And, this could be the difference between them going with you or someone else down the road. Just taking the time to do that. So once the buyer is qualified, make a commitment to follow up on a regular basis until the buyer goes into escrow. So select a day. Just have a day where you choose to follow up with all of your, qualified buyers, the people that you're showing property to, the people that are looking at properties, through the MLS. And this, again, all this stuff could qualify for any type of, profession that would connect with this type of thing. So set a day, follow up with those people and make sure that they know that you're in on helping them find a house or whatever it is you're helping them with. Okay. And if you're doing it on the same day every week, they expect that call. It becomes routine. They're waiting for that call. So sometimes where people may call you on a Monday, but they know that Tuesday's your day to call, they may just wait for you to call them. So you'll kind of cut down on the actual time of people just calling you all the time to ask little questions. If they know that you're going to be calling them on a certain day, they may just wait for you to reach out to them. They'll see that you're a serious professional and that you're following and doing what you said you'd do, which is call them every week or every 2 weeks or whatever it is that you decide is going to be the time frame that you need to do. So that's kind of my overview on what I would do when I get a buyer lead if I was a real estate agent. And ask for referrals, most important. So referrals, people just overlook this so much. You have to be asking for referrals all the time. You're doing a great job. You're helping people, achieve the American dream, buy a house or get a loan. Why are you not asking for referrals if you're doing a great job? Because it's not just going to come automatic. Very few people are referral people that are just going to give them to you without you asking. So by not asking for the referral, you're missing out on a big segment. And I think I have a little chart here next that's going to go over that. So here's some sales statistics, okay? 48% of people never follow up with a lead, okay? So 48% of people, and I got to say, I hear this all the time. Oh, I sent this person that lead, whatever. They never called them or they called them once and didn't follow up. But 48% of people that get a lead will not even follow up with it, which is crazy because leads turn into deals. 25% of people make a second contact and stop, okay? So they'll make contact once, they'll contact twice. That's only 25% of people do that, and then they'll stop. 12% of salespeople make 3 contacts and stop. Only 10% of people make more than 3 contacts, okay? So as you see, we're whittling it down. So are you that type of person that just only contacts them once, twice, or 3 times? That's you're missing out because you'll see what's going to come here. 2% of sales are made on the first contact. So only 2% of the time you're going to be able to basically pick up the phone and go hello, and then get a deal, get a loan, get a real estate deal, or whatever deal it is that you're trying to do. 3% of sales are made on the second contact. So you can see still very, very low if you're just only contacting them twice. 5% of sales are made on the third contact. Okay, so it's going up, but only a little bit. 10% of sales are made on the fourth contact. Who do you know that contacts someone 4 times? Okay, do you contact someone 4 times? I know that we do. We contact them a lot, but a lot of people aren't even getting to the 4th time, and only 10% of sales are made at that point. 80% of sales are made from the 5th to the 12th contact. Okay, so are you even doing this? Like, is anyone even doing this 5 to 12 times? I know we're going about like 7 to 8 times when we're contacting them. If they don't ever respond to us, that's when we kill the deal out. That's what we decided to do. But 80% of sales are made on the 5th to 12th contact. So are you contacting them that many times? That may be a reason why you're not getting all the deals or the transactions that you want. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit repetitive, but again, this is just my overview on ideas of what you could do when you get a seller lead. Make contact within a set amount of time. You're going to see this is going to kind of be repetitive, okay? So how quickly do you contact them? It should be right away. But you need to set a time that you're going to contact those people. And that way, too, when people are referring you someone, so let's say someone sends you a referral, they know that you're going to reach out within a half an hour. So when they're referring that person, they can say, oh, Tim's great. I'm going to send his contact over to him. I know that he contacts everyone within a half an hour if it's humanly possible, okay? So, but set whatever time it is that you think is a, doable time for you. Create constant follow-up if contact is not made. So basically, how often are you going to follow up with them? How are you going to follow up with them? When are you going to follow up with them? So that way you can be tracking and making sure you're getting to that that 12th contact to try and make that sale. Once contact is made, interview. Create interview form and sheet and save and file. Again, same thing as when you get a buyer lead, but it's just so important. Have a separate sheet that you have that's specifically for a seller. What do you ask them? What are the responses? Any kind of special notes or things about the person that you've contacted to. Add to CRM again. So you're adding to the customer relationship manager. That's going to be all the emails and stuff that goes out to stay in front of them. But have a specific campaign for someone that's looking to sell their house. Okay. Take the time to build that and figure out what it is. Build it out for 3 months, 1 month, 2 weeks, whatever it is. But you can build out whatever you want. There's so many customization things you can do once you purchase or subscribe to a CRM. Make sure that you have a specific campaign for someone that you connect with. That's a seller lead. Okay. Add a lead tracker. Okay, so the lead tracker is going to cover buyer and seller leads. Okay, and you're going to put on there all the information, where that came from, what the last contact was, what the next contact's going to be, all that good stuff. If they tell you to follow up with them in 6 months, if they tell you that they don't want to buy or sell, you kill it out, turn it red. There's basically a color-coded thing, and if anyone ever wants to see what a lead tracker looks like, I'd be happy to show it to you. Create physical information to drop by the house. Now, this is just something I've heard a lot of people do. They do drop-bys and they provide information about whatever it is they're trying to do. So if they're trying to sell their house, they drop off I can't think of the exact name of it, but just basically a packet on information on, maybe the value of their property, whatever it is that your thing is, do the same thing every time, okay? And do a drop by the house. I know it's like kind of uncomfortable just showing up somewhere, but people will respect you for going out, going the extra mile. If the information you're providing them is good, it's going to give you the opportunity maybe to chat with them a little bit more and lock up that deal. Mail a handwritten note. Again, same thing as the leads. Anyone you're connecting with, you should be writing them a note, saying, hello, thanks for talking with me. Hey, that was a great story you told me about your dog. Hope to connect with you soon. Or if you ever need any information about selling your house, let me know. Until you get the listing or they list with someone else, make a commitment to follow up with them on a regular basis. So if you connect with someone, they say they want to sell their house, say, hey, I'm not ready right now, whatever it may be, maybe a couple of months. Say, hey, would you mind if I contact you every Tuesday or every other Tuesday until you decide to sell your house? I just want to check in. I want to give you any information I found for your neighborhood over the week. Make a commitment to connect with them on a certain day, and it could be once a month. It could be once every 2 weeks, whatever it is. Make a commitment to do that. They'll respect you for it if you actually follow through with it, but you have to follow through with it, okay? So only set expectations that you can meet. Ask for referrals. Even if someone is not selling their house right now, going to do it in 6 months, ask them if they know anyone else that you can help, If you're doing a good job, if you're following up with them on a regular basis, it's going to show them that you're serious about your job, and, that's when the referrals start coming back and forth, even before you work with them, okay? So here's some more sales statistics. 92% of all customer interactions happen over the phone, okay? So you got to hone your phone skills in. It takes an average of 8 cold call attempts to reach a prospect. So if it's a cold call attempt, it's going to take 8 times before you actually connect with them. So don't give up on the first 2-3 times, okay? Best time to cold call is between 4 and 5 p.m. People have already checked out mentally from work. They're looking for an excuse to pick the phone up. So that's the best time to call. 30 to 50% of sales go to the vendor that responds first. So that comes into play of how quickly are you going to respond to someone, okay? We try and respond as soon as humanly possible. 80% of sales require 5 follow-up calls after the meeting. So just because you meet with them and everything seems to go good, that doesn't mean you just wait for them to call, okay? You need to be consistently following up with them. And that's going to be where you kind of lay out the plan. Hey, I'll call you every Tuesday. I'll call you every Wednesday. Whatever it is that you say, make sure you do it, but you need to be following up because 80% of the time it's not going to happen until you follow up 5 times. Thursday is the best day to prospect. Wednesday is the second best day. I have no idea why that's on there or where they got that from, but that is what I found online, okay? Salespeople who actively seek out referrals earn 4 to 5 times more than those who don't, okay? 4 to 5 times by just asking for referrals. It's a simple, hey, do you know anyone else I can help? But you have to be consistent at it, okay? That's going to give you the ability to earn 4 to 5 more times than someone that doesn't ask for those referrals, okay? And a lot of you probably think, oh, I get referrals, I don't need to ask for them, but you do. You do specifically. You'll get so many more if you're just actually direct and straight with people and tell them, hey, who else can I help? You had a great experience with me? Awesome. I loved working with you. Who else can we help? Have the same experience. 91% of customers say they give referrals. Only 11% of salespeople ask for referrals. Okay, 11%. That's just crazy. So 91% say they give them, but only 11% of people ask for them. And again, they're not just going to, most people are not going to give you a referral unless you ask for it. Like, unless you just do this outrageous job. And there's some people that are just referral people that just pump referrals out like nothing. But the other people, most people, 91% of customers say they give referrals. Only 11% of people ask for them. Okay. All right. So next, what happens when we get a buyer? Okay. So we've covered what happens when you get a buyer lead, covers what happens when you get a sale or a selling lead. So what happens now when you get a buyer? Buyer consultation. So basically you need to have some kind of repeatable process that you do that's going to basically meet with schedule an appointment face-to-face with the buyer, go over all the whole process, make sure they understand from start to finish what it looks like. That's going to basically start building a relationship with you and that client. And also make it a lot easier because you're able to knock out all the additional, all the initial questions in one shot. Okay. Add to CRM. Okay. So again, you're going to have to take time to create a post-consultation specific CRM, emails or whatever it is that goes out from your CRM. There's some of them do text messages, emails, all kinds of videos and different stuff. So what happens after you meet with them on the buyer consultation? Because I heard something specific, and I don't know if this applies directly to real estate agents too, but it was specifically for loans. They were saying that after the initial pre-approval on a loan, 60% of people go into escrow within the first 30 days. So that first 30 days is very important to stay in front of people and make sure that they know that you're 100% on their team and helping them achieve either getting a loan or, basically purchasing a home. Weekly check-ins. Okay, so the lender should check in weekly too. Okay, so you're going to check in weekly. The lender should check in weekly. You're staying in front of them, especially making sure that they don't need anything from you, have any questions, all that, because if you're not answering the questions, someone else will. Okay. Offer packages and follow up on all offers. So you're going to want to show your client what you're doing for them. A lot of these real estate agents I work with that are very successful have a very specific package that they put together when they're sending out to the listing agent. And sometimes it'll include letters from the family, pictures. It'll include stuff from the lender. Just, everyone's a little bit different. There's no secret sauce, but you need to make sure that you're sending some kind of offer package that's put together with additional information other than just here's my offer and here's the proof of funds. You need to be doing that on a repetitive basis, and you need to make sure that you're showing the buyers all the things you're doing, because it's easy to get discouraged when it's a seller's market and it's hard to get your offers accepted. But the way you're going to do it and the way you're going to keep them motivated to be out there looking at properties if they're not getting their offers accepted is showing them all the things you're doing to make it happen for them. Make them appreciate all how hard you're working, because I know how hard all of you work doing this. And we just need to make sure that we're following up on all the offers, submitting an offer package, and letting the buyers know what you guys are doing. That's the provide proof of work. I actually jumped ahead of that, so there we go. But provide proof of work. Make sure you're showing the buyers all that you're doing for them. Okay. Push to obtain TBD lender approval. So there's a process that the buyer can go through that they can get their loan fully approved before they actually find a property, get fully underwritten. They can write with no loan contingencies that they like, or just close super fast. Okay. So our normal closing periods are on the short side are 21 days. If they were to go through the TBD approval process, we've closed loans as quick as 14 days. So when you want to make your offer stand out, you can go through a more detailed pre-approval. It's stuff that the people would be having to provide or go through anyways once they go into escrow. So they're just knocking it out before they actually go into escrow. Buyer survival kit. So we basically send out a survival kit for anyone that we pre-approve, and they're going to get it, and it's going to just have some little cheesy stuff, little tape measure, little hand sanitizer, stuff like that. But the whole point of it is basically that we're sending them something because they've chose to get pre-approved with us, and that should be the same thing for when you get a buyer that agrees to go look at property with you. It doesn't have to be anything extravagant or crazy, but you should be basically figuring out something you're going to do every time that a buyer agrees to work with you and sending that stuff out to them. It's a nice surprise. People don't expect it. And it's really something that helps you cement the relationship with them, especially when you're working as hard as you're working. So ask for referrals. Again, always ask for referrals. Ask for referrals as much as humanly possible. You need to make sure that basically you are asking for referrals through the whole entire process, because you never know. I tell you, I picked up people who are looking for properties, from someone who's looking at, that's already been pre-approved for us with us. So it's just something you need to make happen throughout the whole process. Okay, so what happens when you get a listing? Again, obviously I'm not a real estate agent. This presentation is directed towards real estate agents. So these are just some general ideas, what I think you can do, and it's going to kind of be repetitive, but so repeatable listing presentation. Now, obviously every listing presentation is not going to be the same, but so many times I've seen people putting stuff together at the last minute. What's your package look like? What's your presentation look like? Master it. Become the best at it, and make sure, because if you're repeating it over and over again, it's going to become second nature, which is going to help you give the best presentation for the people that are making the decision. Okay. Add to CRM. So after you have a listing presentation, you should add them to your CRM for a post-listing specific emails, texts, whatever it is that are happening through your CRM. It needs to be specific for someone that you just went on a listing appointment with. Weekly check-ins, okay? So basically, you need to be checking in every week, all right? You need to be checking in with them and making sure when their house is listed that they don't have any specific questions. Is it going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, whatever day it is? You let your clients know that you're going to be calling them every day on the same, around the same time, on the same day of the week, checking in with them. Obviously, be connecting with them other times too, but making that commitment to them to contact them on that certain day is huge. Again, sometimes it'll reduce the amount of times they call you because they know you're going to be calling them on Monday or Tuesday or whatever day it is. Okay. Obtain feedback from showing and present to sellers. So make sure you're providing your sellers with all the feedback that you get, especially on price or the layout of the house or whatever it is that feedback that comes back. Make sure that you're communicating that to them, even if it seems insignificant. Maybe you do the feedback when you call them on the weekly call that you said you do. So repeatable offer presentation. So we're trying to basically create a repeatable process to succeed. So the offer should be coming in at a certain amount of time. Maybe you're waiting till a certain day to show the offers, and then you're presenting them all to them at one time in an easy layout for them to understand exactly what the situation is. Sometimes I've seen people make them where it's like kind of a condensed version of what the offer is for each one, so then they can pull the actual specific offer that interests them out and really go dive deep into it. So we want to make their lives as easy as possible, while giving them all the important information that they need to make sure they're making their best decision. Okay. Provide the proof of work. So all the work that you're doing during having the house listed that no one ever tells the people that have their house listed about, you need to be making sure they know what you're doing. So, maybe when you're chatting with them, or maybe once a week, you send them all the feedback, all the things you've been doing to make sure that their house is in the best spot to get sold. Okay. So make sure you provide people proof of work, because, you rarely, I don't know if it's about rarely, but you do hear sometimes people saying, well, I don't even know what they did for me, like selling my house. I could sell my house myself or whatever it was. And you don't ever want them to feel like that, especially if you sold the house. You want them to know how hard you work to earn the money that you're getting paid, and show them that you're worth it. Okay. So that's going to basically generate referrals. Okay. So, and asking for the referrals throughout the process. So even when you have a listing, you're going to be asking for referrals anytime that you can. Okay. So there you can see, very nice, great success. We're winning. We're doing everything here. Things are going good. We're following a repeatable process. So now what happens? So what happens after you close the transaction? So this is going to be really important for getting the referrals. Like I said at the beginning of this, like every transaction you close is good for one referral a year. This is how you're going to do it. Okay. Closing gifts. Okay. So repeatable. So future clients can know what to expect. I heard a story about, I think it was either I don't know if it was a real estate agent or a lender, but basically they, had sent out whatever it was, closing gift normally. We send out 2 Tiffany's champagne glasses from myself and the agent, and, basically saying, cheers, enjoy your house. So we do the same thing every single time. Now, whatever this other person had done, I don't remember exactly what it was that they normally send out, but they had connected with a client. The client was like, really into wine. This person was into wine. So when the transaction closed, they sent them this like super expensive bottle of wine. Okay. And, they were happy and blah, blah, blah. It was great. But what happened was that person referred someone to this other professional, They went through the whole process, had a good transaction, and at the end of it, they got sent out the normal thing that they normally send out. They didn't get sent out the expensive bottle of wine. Now, this client was expecting the bottle of wine because the person that had been referred got the bottle of wine. So they felt kind of short-sighted when everything was all said and done. Even though they did a terrific job, on the transaction, they felt short-sighted because they didn't get that expensive bottle of wine. And if they just had done the same thing every time, they wouldn't have ran into that problem before. And probably that person's going to feel a little weird about referring people in the future because they're like, well, this person gives this, that, the other. So having a closing gift that's repeatable, so future clients know what to expect, is a huge thing. You need to have a post-closing campaign. So you need to have basically, like, ours is a 5-year campaign that's already been set up. So once they close, for 5 years, they're going to get the exact same things. They get mailers. They get, these are all co-branded with the real estate agents that refer us. They get mailers. They get emails. They get, invited to all of our different stuff. There's tons of stuff that goes into it, but you need to make a post-closing specific campaign. And it should be for a long period of time. I would say for 5 years if possible. So small, 1 month after, gift and check in. So we send an address stamper within a month of when we close, okay? So you want to be checking in a month, seeing how things are doing, reminding them that, they had a great experience, asking for referrals, and basically just checking back in, making sure you can't help them with anything, okay? 5-year physical card campaign. I kind of covered that already. But yeah, for 5 years, we send out physical cards after our closing loan. So on their birthdays, their house anniversaries, happy holidays, and 2 other holidays. I think 4th of July and one other one. Scheduled phone call follow-up. So are you going to be adding them to their top 50 past client list? You need to be scheduling a follow-up call for whenever it is you think it would make sense for this person. Okay. Client appreciation events. These are huge. These are, the difference between connecting with your clients on a regular basis and not. Some people will never ever look at the cards you send, the emails you send. They may unsubscribe, but the client appreciation events are something that we see a lot of people go to. So we've done a bunch of different ones. I've heard of people doing movie theaters. We've done where we rented out K1 Raceway, the go-karts, and had everyone come. We had a ton of people show up to that. We've done stuff in parks. But whatever it is, make sure you're doing something, once or twice a year, showing your past clients that you appreciate them. And people that have a ton of past clients are like, oh my gosh, like, how am I going to handle all that? Well, then just limit it to 100 people, limit it to 50 people, limit it to 25 people. But regardless, create some urgency, be inviting your clients to these events. So next time around, they're going to RSVP sooner than later. Okay. Does anyone have any questions? No,
just people want the PowerPoint.
Cool. Okay. So, basically this is my first run at doing one of these webinars. I've enjoyed giving you guys this information. I have probably 15 of these or more and constantly be building more of these. My goal is to be doing at least one of these a month, but hopefully more, and just putting it out there for everyone to see. And I'm a resource of information. If anyone ever wants to meet with me, talk with me, I don't care what you do, I'd love to help you succeed in your business. Okay, thanks so much to everyone, and have a great day. Now I got to figure out how to turn this thing off. All right, I guess I shouldn't have said goodbye yet. Let's see. There we go. All right, see you later.